Hi Bold Bakers! Christmas has come early here on Bigger Bolder Baking because thanks to LG, I'm able to bring you this recipe for a red velvet roulade from my new LG ProBake convection oven. I'm really excited to use it. I'm excited to show you this cake, so let's get baking. A roulade or a Swiss roll is a very beautiful cake and surprisingly easy to make. But usually where people have a problem is rolling the cake and having a crack on them. Now that problem is very easily solved and I'm going to show you later in the video. I'm going to start out by mixing our cake in a stand mixer. Now you can also mix it with an electric hand mixer, but it's incredibly hard to do it by hand because you need to get the eggs really nice and thick. To your bowl, add your room temperature eggs and sugar. Then we're going to turn the machine onto high and whisk them together until they're really nice and thick. And it's important that your eggs are at room temperature because they whip so much better. This is perfect. This is how thick you want your eggs. They grew, I'd say 5 or 6 times in volume. They're beautiful and lovely and airy. This took me around 5 minutes on a high speed. This is exactly what you want. Now to this, I'm going to add in some vanilla extract and some red food dye to get to the color that we want for our red velvet cake. I like to use gel colors because they're more concentrated, so you need to use less of them. Perfect, this is looking great. So now I'm going to take it off the machine and sieve in the rest of the ingredients that make up for red velvet. Add in your cocoa powder, ground cinnamon, and cornstarch, and then sieve it into your mix. Cocoa powder is a very important ingredient in red velvet cake because it's not just a red cake, it's actually a cocoa flavored cake colored red. That's why you get that lovely kind of deep color, and then the cinnamon gives it that little bit of spice. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to take a metal spoon or something with a very thin edge, and we want a thin edge because we're going to fold in all of our dry ingredients and you don't want it to bash down your bubbles, so use a thin edge spoon. You might have noticed that in this cake there's actually no flour and I used cornstarch instead. It will act the exact same way as flour, but the good thing is that it's gluten-free, so everybody can enjoy this cake. Keep on folding in until you can't see any more dry ingredients. Okie dokie, I can't see any more dry ingredients, so now it's ready for our tin. Butter and line a tin with parchment paper that is 11 inches by 13 inches. Then just pour your cake mix straight into your tray. You might see a little few speckles of cocoa powder and cinnamon. Don't worry about it, it's supposed to look like that. Because of all the eggs in here, this is an incredibly soft, moist cake. It's really beautiful and you'll see that when it's baked. Push it into the corners, make sure it's nice and even. I know it looks really thick now, but once it bakes, it actually sinks a little bit, so it'll all work itself out. And there you have it, our red velvet roulade ready for the oven. My oven has double capacity, which is great for me because I do a lot of baking all at once. I'm going to bake this roulade off in the convection part of the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. To accompany the red velvet roulade, of course, I have to make my master recipe for cream cheese frosting. Now, this is a fantastic cream cheese frosting recipe and it also works really well for my carrot cake. Add your room temperature cream cheese into your stand mixer and we're just going to whip it up until there's no lumps. Our cream cheese is nice and smooth, so now I'm going to add in the room temperature butter. And all I want to do is just whip these both up together again until they're nice and smooth. Now these stages are really important. You're probably thinking, why don't you just throw it all in there together? But this is what makes it nice and light and fluffy, which is a question that people are always asking me. Great. To this, I'm going to add in some vanilla extract for extra flavor. Now I'm going to turn back on the machine and slowly add in our sifted icing sugar bit by bit. And what this does, adding it bit by bit, is allows it to get nice and lots of air in there and make it nice and light and fluffy. And that's your cream cheese frosting. It's a really great recipe and it only takes around 5 minutes to make. And it tastes really good. This is going to go so well with the red velvet. This is ready just in time because our cake is going to come out of the oven. My timer's gone off and my kitchen smells like cocoa and cinnamon, so I'm pretty sure it's done. Our cake looks and smells great, and as you can see, it's nice and evenly cooked, which is what you get from the convection oven. And it's really lovely and moist. So this is the part where I show you my tips about how to roll a roulade without it cracking. While it is still warm out of the oven, it's very important to get it while it's still warm. I'm going to take the paper and just mimic rolling the roulade. It gets the roulade of the cake used to thinking that it's going to be rolled. So you just want to give it a little bit of a roll. Lovely. Because then when it goes totally cold and you go to actually fill it, it will roll up a whole lot easier. Now to be able to fill the roulade and get it off this paper, I've got a nifty little trick for you. Take some cling wrap and put it on top of the cake. Then take a cooling rack and place that on top. In one swift motion, I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to flip it over. Yay. There you go. Then just slide out the cooling rack and very gently peel away the parchment paper. As you can see, this cake is incredibly moist and that's because of all the lovely fluffy eggs that we put into it. Okay, great. Now we're just going to take our cream cheese frosting and spread it all over the surface. Spread the frosting out as evenly as you can, all the way to the edges. Now that we've got our filling down, our next step is the rolling. So what you want to do is take the cling film on either side and move the cling film to roll the cake. And do it slowly, take your time, don't rush it. Look at that, gorgeous. Roll it over onto the seam. Now this is the tricky part, getting it onto the platter, but just do a swift move and up. And if it breaks, anything happens, don't worry about it. We can cover up with frosting, icing, sugar, no one will know. And there you have your lovely roulade. Now, of course, we're not finished here. We're going to make it extra big and bold. We're going to decorate it, put some holly and make it really festive for the holidays. To decorate the top of the roulade, I put the cream cheese frosting into a piping bag. Now I did this because you can pipe it on in nice long stripes and not have to damage the cake. The cake is so soft and moist that if you put on the frosting with a spatula, it has a tendency to come up. Pipe it on in nice long stripes. Honestly, don't worry about it too much because we're still going to decorate the top of this. It'll all look great in the end. And then just continue doing stripes all over your cake and fill in any holes if you see them. Decorate your roulade with some lovely white chocolate curls on top. Because it's the holidays and I want to make this dessert extra festive, I'm going to put some edible gold on the white chocolate curls. This powder is really inexpensive and it just really spruces up a dessert. Now, if this cake wasn't beautiful enough, I'm going to finish it off with a little piece of holly and a little cranberry on top. I'm just going to stick them in, going all the way down the roulade. At this time of year when everybody is decorating, why not decorate your food as well? Check it out, doesn't that look beautiful? I don't know any Christmas table that wouldn't want this dessert on it. When you cut into this cake, you can actually hear the bubbles in the sponge because that's how light and delicate it is. I adore red velvet and cream cheese frosting, so there's not a lot I don't love about this dessert. And the fact that it looks extra beautiful and seasonal just makes it even better. I hope you're excited for even more holiday recipes thanks to LG because I've got a lot lined up. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and I'll see you back here every Thursday for more bigger, bolder baking.